Hey everybody! Happy Monday! This is Angela R. Sasser, artist and mask maker and writer. I do many things. If you'd like to check them out, I've put a little link in the chat where you can look at my art and explore more. Today I'll be working on this sticker design for my Birthstone Goddess of September. In the last stream, we got her to this point where the main figure's just about colored. I just need to go in and refine some of these other elements and also paint the gems here. So I've made some good progress, but I started to get sleepy, so I didn't want to work on it and get sloppy. Which is the worst thing. And before this one, we're basically trying to get to this level of quality here, where we've got the figure and the main narrative elements for the background all colored in. So she's my stylistic reference because I really like the way August came out. I think she's the perfect blend of that shading, but not too complicated, and some nice glowing lighting effects here. I'm just really satisfied with how August came out here. So if I can replicate that success, that'd be great. And for those who don't know what this series is about, I will show you. So these gals are for my Birthstone Goddesses series, which I'm gonna put this in the chat. So you can have fun exploring the Birthstone Goddesses gallery online and getting to know each one of them. Basically, they're each paintings of goddesses who embody the themes of the month. So they have the birthstone and the birth flower involved in their image. So the one that I'm doing the little chibi art of today is the Lady of September. I'm gonna grab this for a reference real fast. Fail. She's my lady for September, which is also the month of the equinox. So I went with a day-night theme here, like equal parts day, equal parts night. So that's why she has the sun and the moons in her iconography here. And also the positive mask and the negative mask, since she arbitrates between the positive and negative sides of ourselves. She's a balance goddess, basically. Since equinox is where we have equal chance to improve ourselves in the next part of the year. So I really liked that imagery for September. She's one of my favorites from this series. And this little chibi series came along because my Patreon patrons, who pitch in a little money to help support me each month so I can keep on drawing, they unlocked a goal to where I was going to make little sticker designs to give to them. So I'm still working away at all these sticker designs, and once I'm done, I'll be releasing them first to the Patreon people and possibly to Kickstarter with the current Kickstarter I have going on now, which I'm going to plug that real fast as well because there's some exciting developments with that. So the Goddesses of Summer are also inspired by this Birthstone series. They're the first in a set of Birthstone enamel pins that I'm doing based on these same lovely ladies. And we're like 80% funded, which is amazing. So I really appreciate everyone who's shared this project and spread the word about it, because it helps little old artists like me be able to create all these cool things that they wouldn't be able to fund on their own. So it's cool to see this come to life. I'm sure we'll get there. We keep sharing and spreading the word. And this is the first of 4 total campaigns I'll be doing to get the whole entire set funded. We're just doing them in little chunks first, so they're a little easier to manage. But the exciting development, stats. The exciting development is that I've just added an original art tier. And let's see, I have a closer shot of that in the updates. So here's a look. This is a little time lapse. I'll link this too in the chat. But you can see the little ink sketch I made inspired by the pen design for Lady of June. And I went and did all the little gold leafing on it too. It's a really lovely touch on the original. So definitely check that out if you like it and want to help support the pens and also get a really pretty original to add to your collection. You can do that now. So I'm gonna link it. I'm just really excited about this campaign. And then over the next couple of weeks, I'll be releasing the next pen design. So you have July and August's. Ooh, that's a weird word. They'll have their original ink drawings up on this campaign too. And I'm gonna mat them up real nice with white matte board that has a black core. It's gonna be really elegant. So that's gonna be fun. So enough of my plugs. We gotta get some work done today. Because this is actually the longest I've been working on one of these. I usually finish them up in a couple of streams. But Lady of September refuses to be rushed, y'all. She's too fabulous to be rushed. Oh, let me get back to the color wheel here. I've been working in the Pantones for the pen designs, because you're sort of restricted to Pantones when you're creating enamel pens, but that is for another time. Switch back to the color wheel for now. So let's see, where were we? I see a part in the veil-y flap thing here that I want to fix. Started to get tired by the end there, so time to fix what I was maybe too tired to mess with last time. But hey, I hope everyone's had a good weekend. I hope you were refreshed and ready for the week. I know I am. I've had a great time just like playing Thronebreaker. I got a new video game that I'm kind of all into now. And I'll have to ramble about that later. But basically, we just had a nice weekend. My husband started a new job, so we're excited about that. And it was the first weekend that we felt, we don't have to worry so much anymore. We're just a little better off than we were before. So hooray for stability. But yeah, just playing video games. The new Shadowbringers expansion came out for Final Fantasy, and I finally resubbed after years of not playing because we were trying to be better with our budget. But now that we have a little stretch room, it's nice to be able to throw some money at an MMO again because it's really fun to play with friends. And also, enjoy all the lovely art that is Final Fantasy XIV. If you haven't seen it, it's one of the most gorgeous MMOs I've ever played. Like the scenery, the character designs, it's pretty stunning. So I'm excited to dive back into that and see how the dancer class is. They look pretty cool. See, I'm just fixing up my highlighting here. Kinda got away with me last time, it seems. I got a little too excited about highlighting, which is an easy thing to do. So, yeah. If you guys have any questions or anything while I'm working, feel free to leave them in the chat, and I will get back to them when I'm able to look up. Summer's in full swing now here in Georgia, so it's actually good that this MMO is happening, because staying outside for long periods in 80-degree plus weathers is not generally a good idea. So begin the summer hibernation until things become more temperate, because I'm not made for hot temperature. A wilt. Oh, why is the low 73? That's just wrong. So wrong. So the other video game that I've been enjoying, since I haven't quite hopped back into Final Fantasy XIV yet, even though we resubbed, actually been playing Thronebreaker, the Witcher spin-off game, which is like a whole new story RPG thing on its own. Like, so far, Geralt hasn't even been in it. There's not even been a Witcher in sight. It's all about this cool queen. It's this awesome warrior queen named Meve. And she's fighting to get her kingdom back after stuff happens. And there's an invasion from a large, scary empire. So it's actually surprisingly good. I bought it on a whim because I was like, I can't take any more open world games right now after Dragon Age. Dragon Age just took all the energy I had left for something crazy and open-ended. So I was just like, I want something small. I want something self-contained. So Thronebreaker was like, hey, it's a card game. Okay. That sounds like just small and I can handle it. But little did I know that card games are hard. But in a good way. I kind of like the puzzle aspect of them, like where you have to figure out, well, what card do you put down first that triggers this ability or that ability. And it's all told in a storyteller style, so you have like kind of this bard relating everything that happens, but then when characters speak, it's it's voice acted by, you know, the character instead of the bard. It's pretty cool. So I've been getting into that, and I actually almost like the story better than Witcher. Shocking, I know. I'm a horrible Witcher fan. Not that Witcher is bad, it's just... The story is actually quite simple. It's like, you're chasing down this chosen child of destiny, and it's about the little things that happen along the way, and the world is very much the centerpiece of Witcher 3. It's like more the interesting world building that got me into that game, more so than the storyline. Even though the story is excellent too, it's just different than anything. Like the tale of a queen trying to win her country back is a little more my speed than Child of Destiny, magic things. It's a little more down to earth, I think. Even though I enjoyed it because wandering the countryside as a monster hunter, it was just really fun escapism for me. So different kind of story that I can appreciate. I think we'll bring some highlighting back into this mask so that it doesn't get lost. It's getting a little lost right now. So we can either highlight it or make the mid-tone lighter. Let's play with the hue slider, my favorite solution. Oops. Oh, I hate when I do that. And the card game also does some crazy creative things, like you think with the card game it'd just be like, haha, I throw my soldiers at the other side. But it actually is pretty thematic. It's during the card battle, there's actually voice acting, like a story is unfolding at the same time. Hey Ray, welcome to the chat. And yes, I went a little crazy with stars and sparkles towards the end of this. The last time I was working on this. I think that's why this one's taking so long, because I've just gone a little nuts. But yeah, there's even like a stealth mission. I don't know how they pulled off a stealth mission with a card game, but they did. And it's pretty fun, actually. Normally optional stealth missions are not fun, but they managed to do it. There's a drinking game that's told via card battle. And I'm like, how did they manage this? This is so creative. And then the art is really beautiful. The maps that you explore are all done in medieval hand-drawn style, with the character models being all 2D illustration looking. Like all hand-drawn looking. So it's got this visual flair that I can really appreciate. So even if it doesn't have like this huge Witcher 3 production budget, it still was such a great surprise for something I bought on a whim while it was on sale, and that wasn't like a $60 game. So CD Projekt bringing the quality there for an inexpensive game. And I was even looking at the goodies that came with it, and I didn't even realize it, but Thronebreaker comes with the Gwent art book, like a PDF of it, and a concept art folder that you can just download, and the soundtrack to the game, which is amazing. It's done all like traditional instruments and stuff. I think I might have rambled about this last stream, so I apologize if I have. But I'm just excited about it. I feel like it's a really underappreciated gem that I want to tell everybody about. But I'll stop rambling about it now. I promise. You know, I didn't put a seam there. I noticed I put a seam here showing that the mask was flat, but I didn't put it on the night mask, so we might have to add that little seam in the line art seam real fast. But yeah, this weekend was just spent recuperating because I have been shouting at the top of my lungs about that Kickstarter. And that just takes a lot of energy every day. Because it's like, what? You gotta share it here, you gotta share it there. You gotta get it funded. You only have 30 days. Oh my god. It's exciting, but also it's a lot of pressure. And then I'm always forgetting Kickstarter tasks. Like today, I'm like, oh, it'll only take me a little while to get up this morning and edit a video, a little time-lapse video that I was showing you guys earlier. But then I forgot, oops, I actually have to scan the art and make a mock-up and write the update and then share it to several different places, so Kickstarters are always a lot more work than you ever anticipate. I feel like I'm the human embodiment of those wacky, wiggly arm things that you see in the front of, like, used car places. Where's the wacky, wiggling arm, guys? But that's partially my own fault because I was playing Thronebreaker this weekend instead of, like, working. But it's so good. And sometimes you deserve a weekend. I try not to work the weekend, or at least I'm trying not to anymore, because everybody needs that time to not be working all the time, because it's, again, part of the reason why I've been dealing with a lot of burnouts, because I just got way too into working all the time. So I'm trying to have a healthier work-life balance, but it's hard. Man, I don't like the silencing. Maybe they'd be highlighting on this seam. Yeah. Yeah, I like it just on the edge. That works. Rim lighting! Rim lighting galore! So I'm gonna do the same on this other side, I think. There we go, and then having this like that sets off that edge nicely, so it has the look of something that's thinner, since these are supposed to be masks and not floating half heads. Alright, so let's draw this line in before I forget about it. So it's funny, I actually had my husband suggests to me, oh, for something different, you should try to play Final Fantasy 15. So I actually gave that a good shot for a few hours. Played through the beginning. And it is a cool game. Like, the graphics are gorgeous. Good grief. But I love how the prince, who's the main character, summons all these cool swords while he's in combat. And I like the character-driven... I mean, Final Fantasy's always been character-driven, but I could tell there's... From the little prologues that we watched with the characters in that one, that it's gonna be all about that rapport they have. And I'm interested to see where it goes, but once it started throwing all these side quests at me, like, hey, go hunt all these monsters, like suddenly we're playing Monster Hunter instead of Final Fantasy. I had to put it down because I'm like, I don't want a big game right now. I want a small game. And then Kev's like, well, just don't play the side quests. I'm like, no, that's not how games work. That's not how I work with any kind of game. Because when I see a quest list, I go down the list. I can't not do it. That's maybe a problem. That's maybe a problem I should address. But I don't know about you guys. I have to... I'm a completionist. I like to do everything I can because I feel like I'm going to miss out on story if I don't. Although more than likely I'll just miss out on like the 20th bandit camp. God, I'm so tired of bandit camps. Even Witcher 3, who was amazing at not having pointless side quests, had tons of bandit camps. But at least that one amused me because you'd like take out these bandit guys and their loot would be stuff like ham sandwiches. Or you'd stumble upon the bandits, some of them don't have pants on, and you're like, what's going on here, dude? And why were you wearing a why'd you have a ham sandwich in your pocket and no pants on? Witcher 3 was funny sometimes. Okay, I guess I can't avoid the gems anymore. I've been kind of avoiding, because I'm not sure how to handle these star shapes in them, so let's go look up some reference real fast. They're so pretty. It's kind of like got this... I'm blanking out on what I would call this, like a textured effect in it. Ooh, I like this one a lot. It's kind of got a bright highlight. That's the light bouncing through, lighting up all that gem glow. Ooh, that one's super pretty. I can tell we're gonna get into increasingly weird territory though, so let me grab the ones. Let me grab this one. Hey, good morning, Ariescapes. Good to see you in the chat. Yeah, I think that's the scratch texture, maybe, or like it's got veins in it, or this is made by like sediment, but then I don't know what's interesting how the star even formed in this one, or maybe this one's fake, I'm not sure. It's interesting. Striations, hey. Yeah, together with the chat we learned words. That one almost looks like moonstone. See, now I'm just getting down a rabbit hole. Oh, so many. But yeah, this one's a good reference. We'll go with this one. I don't think I want to get lost in making striations, because this is going to be a relatively small... It's a relatively small piece, so we don't need to get into making a bunch of striations. And I can tell on the original painting I did... excuse me, I did do the same kind of lighting as that reference, where it's very bright on the bottom with the light bouncing through. So let's see if I can pull this off. I think what I'll do is put the star in an overlay mode and just shade everything underneath it, and then have the star pick up on that shading. So let's try it. Let's experiment. Oh, I missed a gap in the eye. Ooh. Asterism. Okay. I've learned more terms today. What a romantic sounding term, Asteria. Okay, I'll definitely have to read this later. That's pretty cool. And it's funny that I named one of my fantasy worlds Asteria because I thought it was cool sounding, but I had no idea it meant that. Okay, let's get this gap before I go insane. Thanks, Ray. That's pretty cool. That's right. I did not put the shading on a separate layer for the eye. There we go. I feel better. A gap is gone. Yay. Just check both eyes while I'm on this layer.
I see another gap.
It's the only thing about filling in the colors with a magic wand, is that sometimes you miss these corners. Alright, so okay, I'm gonna stop my avoidance of the sapphire now. I got this, I can color it. I got this, I'm not scared of you, Sapphire. Too purple. Ah, I wonder. Forgot to turn transfer back on. There we go. Transfer's back. Yes. So the other thing happening right now is that I've been trying to reset my sleep schedule, and that's been kind of, I've failed. I've just flat up, see, it's probably obvious that I have just straight up failed at trying to reset my sleep schedule because I'm conducting an experiment. Since I've been reading about authors that I like, who they tend to align their work time to be at night because they're night owls, and they get their best writing done at night where there's less distractions. And I figured, well, I've got the ability to do that right now anyway, so I want to try it. I want to try and realign myself to a semi-night schedule, just waking up mid-morning and staying up to work till about midnight to 1. That's the plan anyway, but I keep waking up early anyway. And I'm like, body, stop. I want to sleep in, let me sleep. But I've always been a night owl, and I learned to reset my sleep schedule to being more early morning person just because that was what I was taught. Early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. But now that I've got the freedom to try something different, I want to try it because I've always been much more active at night. Like, my brain is always much more creative and awake, and like the writers I've been reading about, like Neil Gaiman and whatnot, less distractions is good. So I'm gonna give it like a couple of weeks to see if I can get myself sleeping in a little later and staying up to work instead. So I have to untrain the early rising that I got used to because I was just trying to be a responsible adult. Although you can be a responsible adult and work different times. But that's just what, all my family has told me that is the best habit, and you kind of get judged if you don't get up when other people get up. But I'm an adult. I'm gonna eat Oreos for dinner and work till 2 a.m. That is if I can reset this sleep schedule. It even looks good with just the simple shading. Let's see if we flip the stars to overlay, and if that pops the way that I'm hoping. It doesn't pop the way I'm hoping it will. Let's try color dodge instead. Color dodge looks interesting. Ooh, yes, there we go. Yes, Photoshop, do the work for me. Ha ha ha. I think of the times when I was more freely able to control my sleep schedule. And that was back in college, and I got so much done. Of course, I was younger then too. Being younger definitely helps. But yeah, I'm not sure how long this experiment of mine will last, but I'm gonna give it 2 weeks and try out this theory that, hey, working at nighttime is better for certain people who are more acclimated to be nighttime creative for whatever reason that is. I don't even think we really need to get more complex in this simple shadow with the highlight at the bottom. Maybe darken the shadow a little. that wasn't so hard. I'm sitting here freaking out like I'm not going to be able to color these right. But it seems like the stars do all the heavy lifting, really. The stars and the cabochon shape there. Wow, is the figure done? Am I done with the figure anyways? Yay! Wow, that took forever. Yeah, there was like 2 hours in the last stream just getting this figure to finish. So, hooray! That's one little milestone in this piece, so let's move on to the flowers. Which should be simple, in theory. But yeah, I feel for you, Ray. It is so hard. I'm sure it's so hard to write when you have family around and just so many tasks calling for your attention. So the fact that you are as productive as you are has always impressed me. Yeah. Laundry is just one of those things, right? Like, oh my god. If when I was a kid, someone told me that half of my adult life would basically be spent doing laundry, I would have laughed and been like, no, adulting means freedom and staying up as late as I want. No, it means that you're gonna spend most of your sentient time doing freaking laundry, which I hate. I loathe laundry. Doing it's fine, it's the folding it and putting away part that I'm just like, meh, can't be bothered. Yeah, exactly. I just saw you put that in the chat too. It's really just it's that final part of it that I'm like, If ever I wanted a housekeeper, it'd be to just do laundry because I hate it. But not much for vacuuming either. Vacuuming is just really obnoxious. I think I'm spilling my secret to the world that I'm a terrible housekeeper. We try to split up chores, but then like I always end up falling behind on mine. Because I want to be making art. I just want to make art or be inspired for art or be writing. There's always a billion one other things I'd rather be doing. Yeah, there's nothing that incentivizes cleaning like having people over for tabletop games. That's usually when this place gets cleaned pretty well too. Or if we have people staying with us as house guests. So it sucks when we go on game hiatus and then I'm like, I don't have to clean. No one's coming over to judge me. So that's when that judgment becomes very productive. I'm supposed to be keeping this flower shading simple. It is kind of hard with these morning glories. have so many fun little rufflies. I want to paint all the ruffles. Must not paint all the ruffles. But yeah, this night working switch hasn't gone so well because I've still sort of enter cooldown mode way too early. And then I just end up reading for like hours until I'm trying to go to bed at the night. That's why you may have been seeing me tweet a random thought at like 2 a.m. That's how I know I'm up too late, when I see my UK friends responding to me. And I'm like, oops. Well, at least I achieved staying up late, but I probably wasn't working. Although, I don't know. I should consider reading and writing technique books work, because studying is part of the whole thing. And that's both for work and pleasure. Yeah, I'm trying to get better about reading. So I've been reading resource books and keeping my vocabulary up to date, since I do want to get back to writing for Camp NaNoWriMo. Yeah. Although, to be fair, I do that to my UK friends who I see staying up till 9 p.m. my time, and I'm like, y'all, go to bed. Go the F to sleep. What was I saying? I'm reading technique books because I want to up my writing game, which always happens for Camp NaNoWriMo. Like, I get all the writing bug. So I've been back to reading Invisible Ink, which I've been slowly but surely reading for like 2 years now. And it's such a cool book. I like that the author uses more contemporary examples. Like, I never thought I'd see anyone quote "There's something about Mary" and use it as an example of storytelling, thematic storytelling of all things. That's such a trash humor movie that I loved when it first came out. Like, I still kind of love it. I'm making all the bad confessions today. And, so I like his contemporary examples. And just the advice is very practical, and I've been having all these little revelations just thinking about how do I tell a more thematic story, and maybe this extra character I have isn't fulfilling the thematic goal I have, which is one thing, and I've been just bloating it with my obsessive world building, or just liking to have certain kinds of characters in my plots. So I've been having some major story revelations reading that book, even though I don't want to get rid of characters. Okay, going to stop shading these flowers now because they're getting a little too complex, so we're just gonna shade the edges and leave them alone. And leave it alone. Move on to the stems. we're just gonna pluck out which stems are in the background here. And just knock them back with a shadow. And that gives some really quick illusion of depth. And the guy who wrote Invisible Ink has 2 more books, so I really gotta finish Invisible Ink just so I can get to these other books that he's done. One's called The Golden Theme, and I'm not sure what the other's called, but I'm in love with his technique, so I really need to check it out. Oh, cool. I actually bought Hello Future Me's book as well. Very recently, I got the Kindle version, and I'm excited to dive into that one too, because I love his YouTube videos. They're always so well done. Of course, my backlog for reading advice books is so large. Help if I chose the right color. Okay, so that's the border flowers. I think they're done. Just needed some soft shading is all. I hear that the advice book that's told around Into the Woods is pretty good as well. Oh gosh, there's so many like must-have writing advice books that have been recommended to, but I just haven't had time to read because I'm either always choosing between art, sleep, video games, or writing. So like when all this worky work stuff is done, then I get this decision paralysis between what I need to be doing after I'm working on worky work stuff. And then video games win out because I get this like exhaustion from trying to decide on what to do. Oops. Let's make a new layer. No, I don't want to stop. Alright, stretch break, y'all. Stretch break is coming, whether you want it or not. I've actually been using the little cycle I have to exercise my arms with as well, and that's helped a lot of my shoulder pain. Which my shoulder pain just comes from having a giant 150-pound dog drag me down the stairs one time, and also just repetitive movement with my shoulder doing art. My shoulder has been used and abused, so I have to exercise it and do these stretches or I will just be in pain. This one feels good though. So I was supposed to be reading The Secret of the Mongol Queens as a reference book. It's like a historical-ish recording of the Mongol queens that were related to the Khans. But the thematic writing book caught my interest instead, because I'm trying to stick to that whole pattern of read a reference book, then read a novel. That's how I'm trying to keep myself focused, instead of hopping around to whatever. So it is much easier to listen to writing advice books when I'm doing art, because if I get anything too dense, like I tried to listen to Game of Thrones, oh god, no. I would just zone out, and then 2 scenes later I'd be like, huh? What happened? Who's dead? Why is this happening? So I have to make the audiobooks I listen to while I work less heavy, less detail oriented, because I will just, if I get intense into a painting, I will just zone out. I think we need at least a little extra highlight here on the bottom to be stylistically similar to what I've done with Lady of August here. They have kind of more striking highlights, these other gals that I've done. I need it to be not quite the white of the star. And maybe I can just take down the... I can make this gem lighter in the base. Just need a little more contrast between the shadow and the mid-tone. Again, just letting that star shape do all the heavy lifting. Sorry, brain taken up with gym coloring. So I will probably be more talkative in a second once I figure out exactly how I want this to look. This looks good as is. Okay, I can dig it. Now for the side gems. Which we are just gonna color one and copy and paste it because I'm a cheater. A dirty, horrible cheater. So let's see, what other things? I want to go see Spider-Man, because I actually think these newer Spider-Mans are my favorites. Like the Into the Spider-Verse is probably my favorite Spider-Man adaptation now. And as far as the live-action ones, I definitely love I love Peter Holland's Spider-Man. He is the best. Because to me, he's just a more convincing... Did I say Peter Holland? I said Peter Holland, didn't I? Tom Holland, that is. I just want to call him Peter because he's so Peter Parker in my head now. But yes, Tom Holland just does it so well. And he's probably the most, like, convincing kid? So all the other recent live action ones, he's not been really that convincing of a kid. And I like them well enough, but like I like that they've dedicated to him being a high schooler and having to deal with high school crap. Instead of it being kind of like the Amazing Spider-Man, which was alright. But it was such a... I keep doing that. It was such a contrived, same old story that we usually see, focusing on the whole Uncle Ben thing. And I'm glad that they kind of downplayed Uncle Ben and made a few changes to keep the story fresh. So we don't have to relive that same tragedy of Spider-Man's over and over again. And we can focus on, yeah, he's a kid. And he's dealing with life after that. And he's just the most convincing high schooler. Especially with how, like, hyperactive he is. And making videos of himself and being stupid. I love it. So I can't wait to see that. I'm not sure when we're gonna see it, but I want to see it soon. I think I needed the palette cleanser after Endgame as well. Is he a gymnast too? Wow. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. That's so cool. I love him even more now. like a little hidden happy face in the gym. I didn't know he was into ballet either. That's also very cool. Chat's just full of facts today. Now I kind of want some speckles in this main gym. I keep coming back to it. Yeah, I really like Marvel too, Psyche. Even their worst movies are still pretty watchable. So yeah, they're just always entertaining to me, and I'm waiting for them to put out like a super ultra phase 1 mega set, because I definitely want to collect that. In fact, I'm very tempted by the... Is it Far From Home is the next... is? Ugh. I was thinking it was the start of the next phase, but I haven't really been keeping up with that kind of info, if I'm honest. So it's not phase 2, it's the end of phase 1? Interesting. Another hidden happy face. So good. If that is the end of phase 1, that means I can get the super awesome mega set. It's probably gonna cost like way too much money. Or I'll just maybe end up subscribing to that Disney service thing that's gonna come out, because they're supposed to have everything, like all the Disney movies, which those are my favorite go-to things to watch while I'm painting, because they're like familiar and comfortable and inspiring. So I would definitely rewatch Disney movies all the time if I had the Disney streaming service. And then also they're supposed to have all the Marvel stuff too, and it's just like, oh my god, Disney, you own my childhood and my subconscious. See, now these other sapphires need the speckly highlight too. Dang it. Thought I was done. But we must have perfection. Yes, I like it. Alright, did I have any other gems that I've missed here besides the other border gems? Okay, I think I got them all, you guys. Now we just have to copy paste. gosh, so it's Camp NaNoWriMo Day 1, and I haven't even started on my challenge yet. I am challenging. I haven't even updated my project on the site yet. I need to do that later today. Now that I'm not rushing to get all the Kickstarter things uploaded. Because I really want to take at least an hour a day in July for Camp Nano and just work on Exalted things. So if I can't get to writing, I'm going to do the Exalted 30-day art challenge that the community helped me put together. Because that's been tempting me ever since we made it, and I've just not had the time. But baby, I gotta make the time. Because Exalted imagery is just so fun to draw. It's just so crazy over the top. And there's so many images I'd love to draw just inspired from Kalara's story that could go in that art challenge that I really want to play with. So, gotta do it. We gotta do it. Then if I can just get the courage up to write. I'm sure it'll be like opening up a dam though. Once I finally get do the hardest thing, which is to get started. And then it'll be like a flood of productivity. So there was one thing I wanted to try and do with this piece. And that was to actually emulate the look of this, where she's got one side has sunlight and the other side has moonlight. And I wanted to try and reflect that in the background here too. So let's see what we can come up with. It may just end up making it too hard to see everything, but I want to at least try it. So let's see what I can manage. I wonder if I can actually just do a gradient fill from blue to yellow. And then just clip it to these two background layers. Let's try it. Always discovering something new with Photoshop. Yeah, that's kind of neat with the whole background, but we're about to clip that so it's not extending beyond the rest of it. And I gotta change the direction so it's actually dividing the proper way. Let's see. But I still want a value difference between those two. So actually, let's try this. We're gonna make a mask instead of clipping it. Ah, okay, hold on. There we go. Now we can mask out the rest. Oops, wrong thing. Yay, there we go. Mask out the rest, and then set this to multiply. And then we get a value shift here because the multiply blending mode is helping it. Hey, Sunny. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, I thought I would have to start an hour late, but I ended up being able to finish up what I was working on. And then actually get some lunch in a decent time, so I almost didn't have enough time, but then I did, so went ahead and hopped on anyway. Sorry. So I'm actually almost done today. Whoop. Alright, trying to find a good value here that's not going to distract too much from the background, but also it's not going to get too dark. I actually kind of like it with the higher saturation, because that really pops the difference between the dark and the light sides. Yeah, I definitely dig this idea. And she looks good from far away, so that's good. And I may make the midtone on the flowers a little lighter so they stand out. Let's see. Hue slider time. That's good. I like that. Maybe a little too light. Back up, back up. Okay. I'm actually tempted to try something with the highlighting too. Like, she's got blue She's got blue highlighting on the right side. I'm kind of wondering what would happen if I made the highlighting on the night side gold instead. So that could be fun. Let's try it. I like the idea of that sticking to that party color theme where it's both sides are inversions of the other. So let's try it. I don't think I did that in the original, but it might be something fun to try anyway. And also some warm coloration over here would help pop the blue veil-y thingy, flappy, whatever this is, out the same way that the blue is popping the white here on the day side. So let's try it. I think that is the Satin Gleam. See if I can pluck that layer out. Alright, Satin Gleam. And we're just gonna hue slide it till it's in the gold range. It's interesting. Trying to think. Do I like it though? Definitely helps it pop more. And when you're a freelance artist, you're gonna come to hate that word, pap. Gotta make this pap. Need some zing. Although it almost looks like the cloth is changing color and it's not glowing. So let me make it just a slightly more gold than the other side. That's more of a peach. Let me try something else. And now I'm just noodling for the sake of noodling. Noodling is a part of my process, okay? And also, if I'm done now, that means the chat today, or the stream was pretty short. Although I do have a lot of Kickstarter work to do. I've got a couple more sketches to finish up. Not sketches, but drawings of the ink designs. So if I want to get a head start so I'm not scrambling to get all the videos and whatnot made, I might go and work on that today. Which I still need to come up with a good way to stream my traditional art to you guys. Still need to get a stable stand. The gooseneck I bought is good, but whenever anything hits my desk, it like vibrates the camera. And it's a little weird. Actually doesn't look bad with like more of a purple highlighting instead of a warm purple highlight versus going straight yellow. That looks kind of nice. Kind of ties in her neutral silver gleam here in her dress. And it also kind of ties in the more purpley-ish hue of the sapphire. Okay, I think I like it. We're gonna stick with the purple for now. This might change before it goes to the final sticker printer, but for now, I think I like it. Hooray! It's another sticker done! Woohoo! So since I finished earlier than normal, I'll at least show off the next one that's probably my other favorite of the chibi sticker designs, and the one we're going to do the color flats on. I just love how this one came out. This is the little gym goddess of October. And it all just really worked out. Her marigold petal motif worked well with the eye theme here in the top. And then she's got all her little will-o'-the-wisps with the marigold petals floating around. It just, this one really worked. And I feel like this is where these little gym gals really came together. I like how September came out too, in August. But I don't know, just something just really clicked with the pose and everything in this one. So I am super stoked to get to coloring this one. Oh, hello, Kevin and Maya. So for these, the lines are so clean because I used line stabilization. And the program I used before, I'll show it to you real fast before I start winding down on this, but it's called Lazy Nezumi. And I used to get this, but if you pay for Creative Cloud, if you're on the cloud subscription for Photoshop, you can go up here to your smoothing settings and change your smoothing, and it'll keep your lines nice and crisp. And you can change the strength of it if you want more smoothing. So let's see. So with no smoothing. And then with more smoothing. It ends up making your curves that much more, they have more of a geometrical sort of feel to them. They're smoothed out. It's very handy. And Lazy Nezumi is like a plugin you can pay for if you have a standalone version of Photoshop still. And I'm also using a tablet. So drawing on a stylus really helps me to have more control. Since the Cintiq tablet, because it lets you draw right on the screen. The regular tablets are a little more difficult for me to use because you kind of have to eyeball where exactly you're at on the screen and whatnot, so. Yar. At any rate, trying to think, do I want to color flat this now? I got excited looking at it. What's 3:30? Nah, I'm gonna keep my videos tidy so that when this is uploaded, it'll be on its own later. So for now, I'm gonna call it and actually go work on some traditional inking, because I got those original art things to do for the Kickstarter. And I'm gonna make little time lapses of that, so you'll probably see that plugged here in the stream at some point. So for now, thanks for joining me for my short little stream. We finally made it through Lady of September, you guys. I'm so proud. This one took a little bit more doing, but I think she's worth it in the end. So thanks for hanging out with me. It's always good to have company. And if you really enjoyed the stream, feel free to go and pitch in at patreon.com/Angela Sasser, and every little dollar given there helps me to keep doing what I'm doing and expand my business and whatnot. And you can also, if you're watching on Twitch, you can hit subscribe, and that'll give me a little kickback as well. Those of you who are Amazon Prime members, you get one free subscribe a month, so you can hit that and it'll help me out. But for now, I'm going to head out, and I'll be streaming on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, so you can catch me again then. And for now, I'm out, so y'all have a good day, and I'll catch you later. Bye!